end of Dragonflight.
Thank God.
There you go.
Sorry, I couldn't let this slip.
Whoops. I think because it seems that there's a direction they're going in and that there's purpose to it, we will... there's a reason why one of the segments we have here is, did they do a hard pivot to the story? Yeah. It really feels like something happened. Is there much to talk about here? Because the actual speech is very much just a sort of recap of the themes. Again, it's really great that instead of anything interesting happening, all the dragons do is recap the themes of their own story to us. So that was very, very kind of Alex Straza. You are the champion of the Dragonflights. Well done, Matt.
I swear to God, I nearly threw up. I just laughed so hard when I saw that.
There you can see all the amazing characters for you. You're just a whoop. Yeah. You are Matt, defender of the dream, champion of the Dragonflights.
I don't feel like I deserved it.
Yeah, I think it's just because the dragon stuff never actually came through,
and also
it's even
I didn't
as people
do anything.
say, like if you actually deal with the dragon aspects, they barely interact with each other.
Yeah. Except for when they meet once in a blue moon and go, family, we love family, we love family. All right, see you in 6 months, dickhead.
Yeah. So that's so much of it. It's that really challenging thing. I think they tried to do everything at once, and in the process of that, they did nothing.
Yeah.
So they tried to give everybody a little bit of everything. So instead, we got a half-baked story for all of them and an Alex Straza who did nothing. Like, I mean, she was there at the end of the most recent patch. Yeah. But, I suppose with this, we're kind of almost put in a place where we have to sort of review from the sort of position of, these characters. And I've got to say...
Good ideas, dog shit execution, whole way.
Yeah.
Whole way. Only story executed well was the Blue Dragonflight, and that's because it was the smallest and nothing mattered. Because they weren't involved in the plot at all.
Everything else was...
Oh, wait, that's it.
What?
The only Dragonflight that weren't involved in the plot, the Blues, and they were the only ones that had it good.
What about Vakthros that had to be breached?
Yeah, no, that wasn't in the plot. That was just a thing that happened and no one gave a shit about. The Blues weren't like, and now we have to be embroiled in this. They just went, the tower fell. Whatever, family time.
Oh, it didn't fall. No.
It got hit or something. I don't fucking know, whatever.
It got weakened.
It got magic bad.
Yes. This is... You see, right. It is Dragonflight from a perspective of like dialogue for a lot of these characters. It wasn't offensively bad. That's what Shadowlands was, because Shadowlands was so destructive. This was a similar level of bad, though.
I mean, speak for yourself. I felt offended. I felt like I was punched in the head every time anyone spoke to me.
I was... Yes, okay. I maybe felt offended that they thought that this is something that, like, could apply to me. Almost. Yeah. Because, the dialogue for the dragons has been really bad. The vocal performances have generally been pretty damn bad. I think for me, the main thing... Okay, I think the best bit of dragon interaction is probably the Fractures in Time, like, trailer cinematic thing, where Nosdormu is, seeing that, he begins to think, well, shit, my time's coming. Alex Straza kind of comforts him. Because there you actually see them kind of interacting like characters, know each other and care about each other. I just didn't feel that really came through with a lot of the other stuff. There was just so much of like telling about family rather than showing about family, because we're seeing these characters like interact, fight together, like things actually happening. The vocal direction, the very slow talking from Alex Straza, it's just none of it worked.
Yeah.
And I suppose it is after where 10.0 was, I really would have expected better from the core story of Dragonflight and Betrayal of Dragons. So even towards the start, like, you're having a good time in the Waking Shores, there's a fight, right? Alex Trass is actually doing things, you're like, oh,
Yeah,
boy,
where was
what's
that? Where was that energy for literally any other part of
yeah,
it? Like,
it was never there.
yeah,
Um,
that's true.
yeah,
I
it
nearly
was
forgot.
never there. They then, like, I can understand taking us to Aberys, and the point being Aberys doesn't matter, but so much of that was just spent. Deathwing bad. Don't go for his legacy. His legacy bad. Whereas War of the Scaleborn actually, to many, like, Deathwing's kind of protagonist, ish, and you just get a good insight into Deathwing in War of the Scaleborn. You really do not get any of that from 10-1.
Stories in the book.
And
once
with,
again.
yeah, and then with 10-1, like, we waste so much time with the Niffin, who are irrelevant. Just sort of narratively, macro narratively, the Niffin are irrelevant.
That's the awkward part, because I really hate when things get stuck in the loop of everything must be macro narratively important.
But
But at the same time,
okay,
the Niffin were
I feel like whenever there was so little, having it just be the bit that matters is Fyrack is doing Fyrack assaults that don't really have any story attached to them, and that we're not acknowledging. Like, we see the character as acknowledge he's done things, but you never actually, it's always told, it's never shown. Where is Fyrack the Blazing? Where's him attacking a main settlement where it feels like a danger? Like, surely in the 10-1 campaign, we should have been, like, defending Valdrakken, or big things like that happen. Because if you have that happen in Valdrakken, well, Alex Trass is going to be there, the aspects are going to be there, the Draconoids are going to be there, all of these different characters, you can actually, you can have there be stakes. But instead, it was all of this following Sarkareth stuff, which, I mean, it's good that the Drakthir were integrated into the story, yes, but it kind of ended up just kind of going nowhere, being dropped. Or, like, not being important. So I guess it's like when the A-plot of the expansion felt so underwritten, then being sort of plotting, unfocused and other things, that then felt worse. And I suppose that's whenever we talk about the theory of there being a hard pivot, things may start to make sense. Because this just does feel really unearned.
Yeah,
I mean, even defeating Fyrack is, as we talked about in last week's stream, Fyrack was a pretty, like, I think a fun fight, but a narratively disappointing moment.
Yeah, I felt more killing Razagath and killing the jailer than I did killing
Absolutely.
Fyrack.
Absolutely. Oh, Razagath, great fight.
Yeah, especially, like, some of it might be down to the fact that she had a very clear, understandable goal and achieved it, whereas Fyrack's goal was set a tree on fire, which will burn the whole world. And you're like,
A tree that we were introduced, though, by just, hello.
By a week later, hello, this tree is the important thing I grew up. And obviously they gave the seed, and the seed was some Shadowlands and stuff, and that's okay. But it's like, here's a tree that just grew. Defend it. Okay. I think it's kind of weird. But there was a little bit of a, just talking about Fyrack, they did have a scale problem. They had a scale problem with the Dragon Isles and with power. Because you're like, why did Fyrack not just blow Valdrakken to pieces? And then you go, well, could we have stopped him? Probably. But we don't know. There's no reason why he didn't just blast Valdrakken and go, fuck you all then. Or attack Thaldraszus at all.
Like, why doesn't he just go into big Bernie Ball mode?
Yeah.
And just put it into the big tower in Valdrakken?
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously, we're getting into weird nitpick kind of territory, but at the same time, it does feel like, without having logical reasons for why this doesn't happen that are apparent to you.
It's like whenever people say Game of Thrones Season 8, I think a lot of the time what they're referring to is, like, just the surrounding logic and, sort of building up to things just feels sort of threadbare.
Yeah.
Whereas, yes, this patch has just been expansion. Thing, done. But I don't feel like the connection between all of those things has really been something that just, I don't know, coagulates into being a story. Just as a narrative experience, this has been one of the more bizarre expansions.
Which is saying something, because we've had 3 bizarre expansions in a row now.
And they've each been bizarre in their own way.
Yeah, which is almost a challenge.
Yeah. I mean, this definitely shares more with BFA than it does with, Shadowlands.
Yeah, thank God.
just in how it was quite fractured and all over the place.
You know, that's a good point, Marquise. I feel like the Emerald Dream patch was originally Virenolth's. There was a lot of talk about fire being unchanging, which is absolutely more of an ice thing thematically. There was an element of the Druid of the Flame philosophy that did kind of butt heads with what I was thinking the entire time I was going through it. I'm like, I kind of get what you're saying, but I don't really know if this makes complete sense. It's like, the way they took it with some of the druids being traumatized by fire was fine, but I definitely feel like I was expecting, oh yeah, I remember they foreshadowed freezing the tree whenever Fyrack blasted down in Dabris. And they foreshadowed because Virenolth froze all the grass on top of the thing and froze a tree. Remember that? So I don't want to say that's my headcanon now, but I do think you're onto something with it being, because her changing sides does make sense, right? They sped through it a little bit, but the logic is there and it is sound. But I could definitely imagine a world where they started this expansion thinking Virenolth would be the Emerald Dream opponent, especially because she has the relationship to Alexstrasza and relationship to Ysera.
Yeah.
By virtue. So you could immediately see that. And also
think about the War of the
Ice and Nature
Skillborn
and Winter,
book
like,
date being changed all over the
Yeah.
place. And there's just so many weird things.